Good morning, Heidi Foy here with BullFrog Creatives. Hey, we've got a special show today brought to you by CINCH Jeans and Shirts. You guys, we are live at the Ford Wyoming Center this morning, and I'm pretty sure we're the only ones here.
We are the only ones.
The house was dark when I walked in, which was really weird. So you guys aren't going to want to miss our show today. Stay tuned. All right. So I would say that this show will not disappoint because I don't know if you guys remember last year, but we had Jeff on last year.
Yep.
And it was fun. But I will also add that Jeff serves a little bit more of a unique role, I would say, with the NIRA and the official call. He probably doesn't even know I'm going to say this, but with the official CNFR, in that he's like our hype man.
Yeah, that's what you'd call it.
So I have, you guys probably wouldn't have been there. Well, you weren't. Unless you're a contestant, then you would have been there. Or a parent, maybe you were there. At the check-in on Saturday, there's this huge contestant meeting. And all the kids are up. Well, listen, all the kids are supposed to be.
Should be. Up
in the grandstands. And this year, everybody that was speaking or being introduced to the kids was in the arena, which was different, but I did like it. So Jeff gets the microphone. Did you know that was going to happen?
I talked to him a little bit about it before because as I get older, I can do less in the arena. Mm-hmm. So I talk a lot more. So I think that's kind of how it's rolled. They're like, he's so slow and in the way. Let's put him out of the way somewhere.
We got to find something.
So I think they just put me, they found something for me to do and put me out of the way somewhere. And that's pretty good for me because I still like to be a part of it, but I can't work quite the way I used to.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they did that to me too. Like she can't work, so we're going to make her talk.
Yeah, the older you get, the less you got to do, but the more you got to talk. So yeah, that's good.
I feel like that's harder because you got to think a little bit more on your feet.
You want to be careful what you say sometimes.
Yeah. You guys know that. For those of you guys that are watching, we are live streaming this on 3 different platforms. So you could be watching on the BullFrog Creatives platform. You could be watching on the National Intercollegiate Rodeo Association platform. Man, that is really hard to say sometimes. That's a mouthful.
Especially this early in the morning.
Yes. And the official CNFR page. So I would encourage you to clearly, if you're not following all of those pages, you should do that. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we dig back in here. The official CNFR page is going to be all of the action that happens right now this week is going to be all over that page. The NIRA page is more of a 10,000 foot view, I would say, of college rodeo. Mm-hmm. And BullFrog Creatives is, well, kind of everything else, like behind the scenes stuff. I like to go behind the scenes where maybe other media can't go. So, and we do different interviews. So if you guys are interested in any of those things, please follow all of them. They will share different content. So with that said, not only do you do the hype, like you got up in front of these contestants and like, talk to me about what they're thinking. Here's this, if they're juniors or seniors, maybe they've been here before, mm-hmm. Maybe it's old hat and they don't care. Mm-hmm. Like, this is when I get my number. They're going to tell me all the don'ts. Like what's kind of running through their mind, and especially maybe the older, more seasoned contestants. And then as a freshman coming in, like what's going on now?
Yeah, the older, more seasoned guys are coming here and they got a national championship in mind. So they're just kind of rolling through the deal, looking around to see what changes have been made. What's mm-hmm. different? Does the arena look the same? Does it feel the same as it did last year? And the new guys, the freshmen that come in that did make it, they're thinking, man, this is crazy. They're so excited to be here. They want to hurry up and get through the meeting, hurry up and get the mm-hmm. action going. And it's a long week. It's a 3 go and a short go, 3 rounds and a short go for everybody. So it's a long week. Mm-hmm. But those first 3 days, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, bam, 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 it's rodeo. And it hits them pretty hard because you're in meetings and then you go mm-hmm. back to the room and then you come here Sunday and it's boom, things start rolling. So they're just getting, a lot of them are just kind of chilling and thinking, man, it's what's going to be different. And a lot of them are coming here and they're just so excited about everything that's going on. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would add too, we talked about this off camera a little bit because I started and actually didn't hit the live button. And then it feels like a Monday. So it feels like we've just come off a hard weekend of rodeo.
Mhm.
So you talked about Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Sunday is not quite as intense, I would say. We're just getting started. Bulls, Broncs, and breakaway roping, which went well.
Really good.
But all day Monday, you have slack.
Mhm.
All day Tuesday, you have slack, and you have a night performance. I would say Tuesday is like the equivalent of finals week.
That's
it's
the hump day.
Yeah.
Tuesday. Once you get through Tuesday, you can go kind of see what things are going on in the perf, how your time looks, how your timing looks on everything, as far as your sound, your audio, your video, and everything kind of gets rolling. Kids are always rolling. They're always pumped up. The coaches are on fire, man. They're always helping. This thing is put on by coaches. It's the contractors have their workforce and have their flank men and have their gate men and have their crew with them. But for the most part, this crew here is all volunteer coaches. So it's a bunch of old guys like me working the rodeo, opposite of when we put our college rodeos on in our region, the kids put it on. Here, the coaches put it on for them. And I don't know very many associations. I don't study a lot of associations or anything, but where that happens. So what we got is we got 40, 50 volunteers. CINCH is kind enough to
deck everybody out.
We all look the same. And when you see them out there raking barrels and getting after it, that's 50-year-old coaches out there getting it on, So you kind of got to keep them guys pumped up. They do it because they love it and they love the kids and they love the sport. But it takes a lot of manpower to put on this rodeo and to make it go. Last night, I think we're 2 hours and 5 minutes, 2 hours and 10 minutes.
A little bit over. I know the goal, I was a part of the production team for quite a while. And I think the goal always is to stay right at that 2 hour mark. So, and that's something we can talk about too. The production is a massive undertaking. I mean, you've kind of already talked about the numbers that you need, the people that you need to put it on, but not only that, you guys are getting here, some of you an hour and a half before the rodeo starts. There's a production meeting before the rodeo every night. There's a production meeting after the rodeo every night. What's going on in these production meetings?
Like a lot of kids, when they come to my college, I talk to them. We're going to have the first rodeo every year in our region, in the southern region. And them kids come from high school rodeos where a lot of times parents are putting them on. They don't used to, when I was coming up, kids put on the high school rodeos. Now the parents are kind of doing it. So the kids don't really know how to, when you're bucking horses at one end, you better be sorting your cab numbers at the other end and getting your 1, 2, 3, 4s and sorted, because here they come. We're going to put on a rodeo, and it's the speed of the game. Everybody here kind of knows the speed of the game. So when we're bucking horses on the barebacks, and then they're going to go to tie down, they're already down there sorting cattle and getting them coming up. So they just don't miss a beat here, from the flags, from the opening, from the prayer to the national anthem, all the way to each sponsor flag. Sponsors are huge for the sport of rodeo.
Absolutely.
And getting a sponsor flag after each event or before the event, just the timing of that, where we can get that, make sure our cameras are in the right spot, make sure everybody's in the right spot and all that. It's a huge undertaking. Starts with Jim Dewey, and then you got CJ Argon on the timed event end. You got Ben Londo on the rough stock end, and these guys are just bam, bam, they're on it. So a production angle, it's a huge undertaking, and there's a lot of planning. And like when we're talking in the meeting, it's pretty cool. They're like, we're lights out at 6:55 and 6:58. We're going to hit this. It's pretty neat how they.
It's very drilled down.
It is.
From my time as doing the production manager and the opening ceremonies, I think the first production meeting I went to, Kristen Vold asked me what time she could buck her first horse, and I thought I was going to pee my pants. Yeah. Because there was just so much that I didn't, besides that was intimidating anyways, like when it's over.
Yeah, exactly.
But I didn't realize how, not necessarily to the second, but certainly to the minute, how detailed the production was going to be when I got into it. And it definitely, and then even in what happens is, in the rehearsal, then you're organizing all the things and you have your clock so that you can tell, okay, the national anthem is this long, the opening is this long, Boyd's prayer is about a minute and a half, and it takes, I can't believe I remember this, about 6 minutes to run the regions in.
Yeah.
And so that on top of, this is when your first horse is going to buck. And, but I think I just never really put into perspective, like why that was important for Kristen. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, number one reason why that's important is so she could be ready up there with her horses, get them in and out of there. Look, we're trying to put on a 2-hour deal. Like you said, we're made for TV production. So ESPN wants to film this. A rodeo that you're not necessarily putting on TV, you may not be quite as harsh, may not be quite as on a time frame as we are. But we're trying to make a product that's better for sponsors, that's better for CINCH, that's better for Cactus, better for our national sponsors. So we want this thing to look good. We want it to roll off in 2 hours because we don't want to cut anybody from the event. So it's super important for her to know when to have them horses tied in, when to have guys pull their riggings. You don't want to have them pull a rigging on a horse 5 minutes before you buck this booger. So she could kind of say, look, we're about 30 seconds, a minute out, go ahead and pull your rigging, get tight, and start getting over in there. So it's pretty important for them, but also just the fact that we got to go bam, 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 put this booger on 2 hours, 10 minutes, and get to where it can be a TV slot and can be a product that looks really good for TV.
That's right. I mean, so I'm not 100% sure on the time frame, but when did television come into the picture for the CNFR? Do you remember?
Man, I don't know when television came in for CNFR. I'm thinking
it's been at least the majority of the time it's been in Casper, right?
Yeah, I think 14, 15 years seems like, but it's gotten better and better. Our filming, like if you look at the older films and then you look at what they're doing now, it's so amazing. I mean, they get some in tight shots. You see a guy putting his hand in his rigging and his bull rope, or you see the guy, you could almost see when they're backed in the corner, the sweat and you could feel it. And that's what's fun about the little arena here at Casper and being tight. You can just feel it, you could smell it, you could taste that, and it's pretty cool.
Well, and I would add too that the technology has changed. I apologize, I was looking for a list of who our telecast sponsors were. The equipment has changed in so much that it's not as invasive to the athlete and to what they're here to do. And I think that makes a huge difference because you want to be able to provide that, that good view and the good show at home, but also allow the students to do what they came to do and not get in their way.
Yeah, because I remember in the old days, there's a you had a big camera right up in front by your horse or by your bull, and he's right up there in your way, and now you don't even notice them.
Yeah,
and just everybody wants to get up and pull for their team, and everybody wants to cheer, but just the amount of people you got on the back of the chutes can be overwhelming if you're not careful. So keeping that clear, keeping the front of our bucking chutes clear where nobody gets run over, because it's a pretty tight arena. So you buck a horse and
they're coming right back
on top of you pretty quick. Pickup men's right there, great pickup men. Too Tall and Wayne do an amazing job, and Dwayne, and they're amazing. I mean, it's just everything's.
They're so clean.
Yes, everybody's on their job. It's just
one of the jokes that we talk about now. Of course, social media, of course, plays into this, I think, even more. But we talk a lot at that contestant meeting that we started out with, kind of reminding the kids, like, hey, this is a little bit different game. There's going to be cameras everywhere. Clean your language up. Watch what you're saying. Look where, be aware of your surroundings. And I think it's a running joke now, but you don't put your elbows and lean them out in the arena, which is kind of normal. Like you've been leaning on the arena panel for what, like since you were 5?
Yeah, exactly.
Poking your head through and watching and seeing what's going on. So there's a little bit of retraining that we have to do. But now it seems like an ongoing joke in the production meeting, like elbows down. We know this. We've been doing this a while now.
Yeah.
If you've got gum in your mouth, everybody can see it.
It was cold yesterday and breezy, so we all had our jackets. So I seen a couple jackets hanging
on the coat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, hanging on the fence.
Call them up and say, hey, get that jacket off the arena. It's kind of covering the sign up over there. So a lot to it. Kids being professional, they get them in and out of this arena. They don't follow their cattle out here. They rope their calves and then pick up and get the cattle out and they go
And
out
out
the
they
other
go.
gate. It's just like you said, it runs like clockwork. And the pens we got set up in the back for these cattle to go through and the doors, how they got them set up. Powder River comes in and does a great job of setting the arena up and makes it, if there's anything gets banged up, a bull can tear up some stuff.
My goodness.
Anything gets banged up, they're there that afternoon fixing it. Yesterday the wind's blowing, so you got to get a water crew out there and get the water down in the dirt from the back fence because the wind's just blowing dust like crazy. So you got a guy out there watering. It's a massive undertaking of labor.
So many things that even just as a rodeo fan, and I would say even as a contestant, you just don't even think about.
You really don't until even as a coach, you're still learning stuff today as a coach. When you come in and you're putting this on for TV, you're like, man, that would have slipped my mind. People here don't drop the ball. You can't drop the ball one time or it shows. The good thing about rodeo is we saying it's all timed and all this. Something's always going to happen. Something.
There's too many cogs, I guess, that you don't have control over.
The animals are not listening to our timeline. So things can go out of whack, and you may run long in one event and be like, oh man, we're a little long right here. That took forever. We're gonna have to speed up this other event. So you kind of got to rush some contestants, kind of got to rush some people. And I'm not saying rush them to do something silly, but let's stay on our game. Let's get this snapping and go. So it's pretty cool how you kind of see that coming, and you're like, oh, this is looking like a train wreck right here. We better step it up over here. So it's pretty neat, and it goes really well. The crew does good. All the coaches, they know their job. Most of them volunteering. They kind of been doing like, we know that Paul Brown's got the gate in the back. We know that Chad Cross has got the gate. We know who's got they've been in the same jobs for a while, and they like that, and they're pretty comfortable doing it, and it works really good. So if something's working good, don't break it. At the same time, we always want to grow. We always want to improve. We're always looking for more sponsors to come into our sport. We're always looking. I think we got the best sport in the world. We got kids with passion. We got young kids with manners, professionalism. They're usually well coached. They're usually well brought up kids. They've got some responsibility as far as their animals, as far as their travel. They kind of know how to read a road atlas, or at least get around. I get on to them a little bit. They don't know how to read a road atlas, but
not anymore.
They've got a little road savvy. They got a little travel savvy about them. So they got some common sense, and we got a great product to sell. And like I tell the kids when you get here, man, what the fans want to see is your passion. What they want to see is you trying your guts out, you just laying it out on the line. And at the same time, sometimes it's aggravating, and they don't mind to see aggravation. They just don't want to see temper tantrums and little baby fits, but they don't mind seeing aggravation. They don't mind seeing disappointment. They love seeing excitement. I seen a kid get his hat smashed yesterday in steer wrestling, and he just stuck it all over.
And it was it was.
He just had a good time with it, and it wasn't quite the run he wanted, and didn't go exactly his way, but he took it all in stride pretty good, and fans love seeing that. I mean, they love to see what's in your heart, and that's what these kids show. So I think we got I think it's the number one sport in the world. I think we're at the age of when we're in college where they are learning so much about the game and learning so much about the professionalism of it and things like that. I think we've got a great sport for more sponsors to keep coming. And I think we got the right kind of people to sell it to them. And that's our kids, we got a great product.
For sure. I would add too that it's not very many, part of this check-in again, we have Susan Canode running that media room upstairs. And part of that check-in that she provides is those kids are going to do interviews this week. Like it's just pretty much inevitable, whether it's with their local newspaper, whether it's with BullFrog Creatives, like wherever it is. And Susan provides that little bit, that extra step of training. Yeah. If you're nervous about an interview, let's talk about it. Let's run through it. If you've never done one before, what do you say? What's important? What do you not say? I don't know that there's many other areas or industries that would provide that little bit of extra step. You know, how can you best represent yourself and this industry? And we're going to help you do that.
Susan goes so good for so long, and she does do that. She will make you feel comfortable. She's got 2 or 3, maybe 4 interns that'll come out and find you, and they'll even interview you, and they're closer to your age. It's not like real intimidating with somebody just sticking a microphone up in your face and saying this and that. So it's not intimidating. They talk to you quite a bit before they do the interview. They get here, they line up for their mug shot, they get them a mug shot and get them a good picture, and then like you said,
headshot.
Yeah, headshot.
We're not doing mug shots this week.
Yeah, headshot. Good job. And so when she gets here, she does pretty good job. She does a great job at that. And most of the kids will settle in, even if some of them will say, Coach, I'm not doing an interview. I'm not. I'm like, you're going to have to do an interview at one point in time. You've got to get comfortable talking in front of people.
Well, and it prepares them
for our sport.
Yeah, absolutely. It prepares them. You know, I would say the most easily answered question by far is, what are you going to do after college? I'm in a rodeo.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's go from there.
Let's talk about that. What does that look like for you? Are you going to get sponsors? Like, how are you going to rodeo? Are you going to have a job? Like, are you going to win and rodeo? Are you going to count on that? Like, so I think just having those conversations with the kids and knowing what their plans are and kind of tying that back to how you run it as a business now. Yeah. It's different. It's completely different. I feel like even when I was rodeoing and when you were still going, it is run more as a business.
It's way more of a business. And then you got social media.
Yes.
So you got a fan base that can reach you at any point in time, any time of the day. And you got where you can thank your sponsors at any point. So you got kids who have got great sponsors from home that are hashtag this and hashtag that. But then you get in front of a camera and they're like, you know, so I think it's a mixture of both. And I think it really helps them when they come here and then you do some interviews. I think it prepares them for where they're going in the future. And if you look at the people who win national championships here, I don't know what the percentage is. I'd like to go back and look, but a big percentage of them go on and make a living rodeo.
Yeah.
A big percentage of our college
and are
champions.
doing it now.
Or doing it when they get here.
Yeah.
And that's the unique thing about college rodeo. A lot of these kids, you look at Cole Franks in the bareback riding, you know, with the CNFR last year was 2nd or 3rd in the world, ended up 2nd or 3rd in the world. And he's here this year. He won all around last year in the college and won the bareback riding national championship. He's here again. So he's already making a living doing it and still finishing his degree. So a huge amount of those kids go on and make a living rodeo. And so, and a lot of them know when they get here where they're going. I've seen kids come in here and win national championships as freshmen. And I've seen some come in here, they weren't going to go on their 5th year of grad school. And they said, no, I didn't win. I'm going back to college. Yeah, because I'm coming back here. So, matter of fact, I've got some guys on my team. A guy that's probably number 8 in the world right now in the calf rope, Kincaid Henry. I think he'd come back. We got another young man, Macon Murphy, won the national championship in the calf roping last year. He's probably 20th in the world right now in the calf roping. So, them guys are in school they're in school to get an education. Don't get me wrong, but while they can get an education paid for,
I think
they want a national
I had an opportunity to talk to Kincaid before his first go, I believe. And, you know, if I remember correctly, business.
Yep. He's a business major.
And he said, I think it was funny. It kind of hurt me a little bit, cut me deep. He said, when I get old, 35 or 40, then I'm going to be done. I was like,
Yeah. And he's going to have a great career.
But he's got a plan.
Then.
Yeah.
You bet.
He's got a plan. I'm going to get this degree that I can fall back on. Which is the whole point of college rodeo. Like we as adults know, I didn't know this when I was a kid because I knew everything when I was a kid. We as adults know that it's not going to last forever and it might not even last as long as you think it will. So we as adults know that this degree is going to help you later, but sometimes it can be hard for student athletes to see that. And so I think I've been super impressed with the conversations I've had about like with the students is that like, they know. Yeah. These ones at this level understand that.
Yeah. They got a plan. They have their goals wrote out. They have their list of how they're going to achieve their goals. They got their to-do list of how they're going to achieve those goals, and they're very planned out. And most of them are planned out by their 10th or 11th grade year. They've kind of got it laid out. Rough stock's a little different. A bull rider's career is going to be till he's 25, some old. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to take away from the JB Moonies, the guys that are amazing, but you better be a man at 18. Yeah. In the bull riding, you have to be a full grown man, because you're going to do full grown man stuff at 18. So for me to go out and get a bull rider, it gets really hard, because he can go to the PBRs. He can make $250,000 or $1 million a year.
Yes.
Go pro rodeo and make $300,000. And there's so much money out there for him to be made at the early age of 18. And me say, come get a degree.
No, come to college.
Come get a degree. And then turn out of some of them big rodeos and wait. Well, he's got a short term on his career. And then I'm trying to get him to come to college when he can make a bunch of money. So it really gets a bull rider.
I've never really thought about
bull
that.
riders need to be really planned out to get a bull rider that's really wants a degree and is really planned out. It can be tough.
Yeah.
Bareback riding and bronc riding kind of on the same lines. They got a little longer life expectancy in their career, but it's not.
Well, and bareback riding for sure. Like, I think our rodeo fans are knowledgeable enough to understand, like, bareback riding is harsh. I feel like it can wreak a little bit more havoc. I don't know. Listen, rough stock riding in general, there's a whole different level of like what can go wrong.
Yeah.
Than I feel like on the time you've been in. I mean, both of them have their things.
Ups and downs.
Yes.
Yeah. Time event right now. If you're pulling a trailer down the road and $5 fuel.
Oh man.
You better be
winning.
Struggling. Yeah. You better be winning.
I would say even if you're winning, you're struggling. Because that's
tough.
You can't, but that's hard to budget because your payout is still the same. I mean, rodeos aren't increasing what they're paying out to cover those expenses.
Right.
So your budget just got a whole heck of a lot tighter.
Yep. Where you're eating is probably going to change. You're probably going to put a little more food in the ice box of the camper instead of
going out.
Yep. Yeah. So things are going to change a little bit.
Hit the 99-cent menu.
Yep. You're going to start timing those deals, and it's going to change a little bit with fuel prices, but it's a business, and these guys know it. And thankfully, we have a great product.
Yes.
And we're able to go through times like these.
It kind of.
We're talking about ticket sales last night. We were talking about last night, I think, was Casper night. So our walk-up tickets were up quite a bit.
Quite a bit over last year.
I think as a whole, we're up 20%, which you need to be, because things are higher and cost more. But we just keep on growing here. That's just a town getting behind it.
And I would also add, I don't think we have seen ticket price increases, but it's been a few years. So, I mean, it has been a few years since our ticket price, like for general admission and box seats and whatnot, has gone up. So we're still providing an affordable evening to take your whole family. And it's most certainly one of the many family friendly things. I mean, it's not all sports are going to be family friendly, but I guarantee this is.
It is family friendly, and you got Justin Rumford, and when he gets on a roll out there, man, he could just make you laugh. Like last night.
We might have to try to snag him one morning. Mornings are hard for cowboys, I will say.
They're late nights here. The rodeo gets over 9:30. Then you get done with the production meeting. You usually try to grab something to eat, and then you're out the door to try to plan the next day. So mornings, and you're already strung out from 3 days of slack,
especially Wednesday morning, especially. So I appreciate you being here.
Oh, you bet.
Hey, so there's one question. I do have a question in our comments here about ESPN app. So Tracy, thank you so much for commenting. You can live stream. Social media is it's a curse and a blessing. So y'all, if you're following us on social media, I'm sure that you have seen all the links to watch live. Unfortunately, there's only one place to go to watch. Well, fortunately, there's one place to go to watch live, and that's the ESPN app. So don't click on all those things. Just download the ESPN app. And yes, you do have to have a cable or satellite provider. So that's kind of the catch. It's pretty old hat for any live stream.
It's free.
Yeah. Well, if you have a cable or satellite provider, you can log in with that. And then you can watch all the live streams. So though the live stream did start last night, you can live stream every evening performance. And I believe that includes Saturday also. So if you guys are real, start putting together some watch parties and let's make this happen. If you guys can't be here in person, we would definitely want you to get all the action. You guys, we're about 30 minutes in. We're going to take just a little commercial break. If our production team can push the right button. That's me. All right. We'll be right back, you guys.
Perfection almost looks easy. But it isn't. Here's to those who go the distance.
All right, we're back. So commercial breaks, who knew? I'm getting pretty savvy on this technology here. So we have talked a lot this morning about production and what goes into the rodeo, what the kids are thinking. Let's talk about competition. How is it looking this year?
It's really tough. I mean, it's always tough here.
Yes.
When I say that, it's a 3-go rodeo. So it's simple.
Yeah.
But it ain't easy.
Yes.
If that sounds right. You go out there and make some great runs. You see some quality great runs, but putting 3 of those together to make it back to the short round is tough sometimes.
Yeah.
So you might have, like last year I had a girl here and we could have come back with a barrier in the breakaway, and they could possibly come back with a leg. I mean, you look at the team ropers you got in that's got 2 knocked down clean. It's not a lot, so it's always simple, but it's never easy. It's not
well,
easy,
and let's talk about 3 goes and a short round, and compare that to the NFR. The NFR has 10 goes.
Yeah.
That mindset is a little bit different than when you have 3 goes, I would say. But it's similar.
Yeah.
Because you still have to, you want to go in and you want to do well in the round. But you also have to keep in mind that there's the average game that comes into play also. So I think that this, and at the NFR level, I would agree also, is where the experience and the mental game comes into play. Do you want to run? Especially these. Here's an example. We have a college girl that keeps her horses at our house, and she did pretty good. Well, we were talking about where she drew up. Okay, so she roped on Sunday, Monday, and then she did Tuesday, and she's tying goats also. She drew her 3rd go on Tuesday night. In my mind, that's not where I want to draw up. In my mind, I would rather draw up a little bit later in the week. Not so that I can watch what everybody does, but I get just a little bit of a break to kind of reset my mind. When I qualified, both times I was up Tuesday night and I did not like it.
Yeah.
I just didn't have that reset or, that just kind of break in between those goes. So that can be hard. I think position draw here can come into play. Maybe not. I mean, what do the rough stock riders think about that? Are they looking up at where they draw? Or are they just looking at what they draw?
What I try to tell my guys is let's don't focus on where we're at in it. Let's focus on what we can control.
Gotcha.
And that's us. We can't control the draw. We can't control when we're out, but we can control what we do when we're there. So let's make the best ride or run on every one we got. And when it's 3 head, the cream is the more head you get, the more chances have you got of the cream rising to the top. So you do get a rough one. Let's say you have a good one, a bad one, and then another good one. You come back in great shape.
Yeah.
Now, if you get 1 or 2 that's kind of rough, it's a little bit of a game changer. Then you might have to push the barrier. You might have to
Right.
maybe put one wrap and a hooey on one. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it could be a game changer. So you're just kind of rolling, and that's where experience comes in. Like, go out there, rope calves, tie them down. Go out there, mark your horses out and spur them, and things are going to happen well for you. The best ride or run you can on everyone you got, and usually you got a chance when you get back here.
Yeah.
I would say once in a while, you might have luck that's so rough that there was not a chance for you, and you just write that off as it's a rodeo deal, and you roll on. We try to even that up in the horse riding industry, in the bull riding industry. We're trying to do that in the calf roping and the breakaway roping. The goats, I mean, if you want to talk about something that's been amazing here, you talk about the goat tying. I know our ladies coach come up here, and she came up here before the rodeo started and helped tie the goats down and was picking through them. And they got a great set of even goats. I thought the breakaway cattle have been more even this year, and so the tie down's been pretty good. Steers have been better. We're getting better at everything. And you always hear somebody say, "Man, that was rough. That one shouldn't have been in there." Well,
that's the draw.
You can't control them all. We're trying to get better. It's trying to get awesome, but it's gotten better every year, I think. And as a coach, as a person who cares about the sport, and as a guy who thinks that it ought to be the best of the best right here on the best of the best stock, we always wanted to get better. Number one, that starts with us. Making it better with what we got. And then number two, just keep on building and just keep on learning. So we got a lot of room where we can grow and do better, but we've done pretty stinking good at getting it pretty even for them. So don't worry about where you're at or what you got. I had a young man, he's the first bulldogger out here. You know, he's first.
Ultimate.
Yeah. And
like being the first barrel racer Monday morning.
Yeah. I mean, somebody's got to draw that spot. I'm like, who cares? Go set the pace. You know what I mean? Go set the pace. We're going to, he ended up seeing maybe just a touch more than he would have, but we weren't far off the barrier, you know? So it was a pretty cool experience. And next time you won't draw that position, but it wasn't a terrible deal. You got last in that second go. So we got a pretty good crack at them there. We get to see a lot of action there. And then you're first again in the third round. He's last, first, last, you know, so our first, last, first. So I try not to look at it too much. Go make the best ride or run you can on what you got. And then when you got three head, usually the cream's going to rise to the top. Most of the time what happens is you'll see a kid that can rope or ride for a national championship and do something stupid. And that's cost them a national championship. You can't. It's like college rodeo. You only got 10 of them. You don't have very many mulligans. You know what I mean? You don't get a chance.
You don't want to play it safe. And on the other hand, you
can't make a mistake.
You don't want to really stick your neck out too far anyway.
You're gonna go at them. You just can't do nothing silly. You're gonna if you rope aggressive all the time, by all means rope aggressive.
Do what you
come here and do what you do. Take care of your job. Do the best you can, and you can't make many mistakes. And one little mistake here, like if you bobble and you are past a 6.5 in the goat time, you're probably not looking at making this short round. What's it taking to make the short round right now in the goat time?
You know what? I'm not real sure. It's in that stat. I will say that now I don't know what the arena record is in the goat time here, but we have seen sub 6.
We've seen a lot of 5. We've seen a 5.7, and I think that if I remember right, I think that
5.7, 5.8
tied the arena record.
The 5.7 did. Okay. I mean, it's so fun. And I can tell that I'm getting older because I watch those girls and they're not slowing down. They're just stepping off. And then I say, oh, they're going to feel that later. But that's when you know you're old, when you can feel the pain that they're going to feel later. But they're fast. What do you got? What are you looking at here?
We got 3 rounds. We got 3 perfs left and 10 flats, 10th right now. In the goat time.
So 10 flat on 3 head. That's
what? That's crazy. No, I'm sorry.
2.
I'm sorry. Never mind. 22.7.
22.7 on 3.
10.
There we go. Sorry. We're having a hard time reading. It's early.
So that's winning it is an 18-9 right now.
6'4", 6'4", 6'1". That's consistent.
Yeah, you go over 6'5" in this boogers, you're going to have a hard time. I guarantee it's going to get really, really tough. It's crazy. Bareback riding right now, man. You're looking at Cole Franks. He's on top with 236 on 3. I'm going to say it's going to take. There's still a lot of guys left to go. We got 3 more perfs. It'll take 225, maybe 223. Make it back in the bareback riding. Yeah.
And we're saying make it back. So again, as we talked about, there's 3 long goes and a short go. So the top, 12? Top 12 in the average come back to the short go for an opportunity. So they'll get, to determine the national championship, they'll have average points and go round points, right?
Right.
Go round points, average points, and then the final go round, you can get points too. So, and I will add, everybody starts at 0. Everybody starts at 0 when they start this rodeo.
Yeah,
so
you come in
if you're leading the nation coming in,
doesn't matter.
Good job.
Yep.
You have 0 now.
You
had a great year, you're starting over.
Yeah. So you got individual championships.
Okay.
You got team championships. You got men, women's, and then you got an all around. You got everything you would have at a regular rodeo. And you got a guy like me, a lot is on the line for my team, but also for individuals that, like I said, making Murphy's a return national champion last year. Kincaid Henry's won the first round, doing great in average. He's got his 3rd one to go tonight. It's looking good.
And the bull rider, Tristan.
Yeah, he's coming
Hutchins?
back. Yeah, he's a return national championship, coming back for another title, and he's riding good and done pretty good in the bull riding. So and they have rode quite a few more bulls this year than what they have in the past.
I've noticed. I mean, there's been years where you cover one and you make it back, and I don't know that that's going to happen this year.
Yeah, and just looking at the bull riding, see how many guys have rode. Tristan's rode 2.
It's early.
He's rode 2 out of his 3, and he's 167. But there's guys down here that have
2 covered.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 guys on 2.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's way better than it has been. So.
And I would say that speaks highly to the talent of the student athletes and the stock that Kristen Bold brings.
Yeah.
I mean, they're riding top-notch world champion bulls and pairing them up with world champion student athletes.
Yeah, they're ranked bulls.
Yeah.
And then the bronc riding has gotten out of this world, man. There's some great bronc riders, great talent coming up in the bronc riding. And it's going to be a battle that look like them boys from McNeese are doing really well. You could sit there and go through a list of schools, but man, like I said, when you go through and look at these schools at the top, it's always tough.
Yeah.
I don't know what team's going to win it. I pray and hope that it's mine.
Yes.
But I do know whatever team.
But it'll come down to it.
It will come down to Saturday night. And this deal's not over till after that. I've seen it like they'll have a team sheet out starting last night of a projected, if it was the end of day. Well, that's kind of like the election crap. You watch on TV, it's projected if it ended today. So last year going into the short round, we were projected to be like 6th after the short round, and we were the reserve champions. So that's a projection. I try not to look at these sheets. I think I look at these sheets with you on this day, and then I don't usually see them again because I don't look up till Saturday night after. And then it's almost like you take a big, deep breath and you're like, well, we laid it all on the line. You look back and see if you drop the ball anywhere, if with any of your players, if you drop the ball anywhere, where could you have done better? Where could you have done this? But the main thing is, it doesn't really matter. You laid it on the line.
Yes.
You tried your guts out when you was at the finals. You gave them everything you had, and the cream rises to the top. Best team wins. Best event champ wins, and it works like that.
Yeah, for sure.
You always got people. Every one of them here are capable. A lot of them just get really jitters the first time. And a lot of them come in here and look like they've been doing it their whole life.
Yes.
So it's
And I'll add too, I think one of the things when I qualified in the goat tying, it was kind of it was more of a relief to me. Like, oh, I made it. And then I didn't really put pressure on myself to do well here because I just felt like I was lucky to be here. I'd had back surgery and things that should have prevented me. And so I just checked it off and checked out. And I don't think that anyone ever really told me you have a chance. Like, don't check out and enjoy it. Like, enjoy it and
try to win.
Do your business.
You bet.
So I think that there are some kids that have that attitude that like they're just happy to be here and they're just going to enjoy it while they can. And so it's a mixed bag. I feel like
college rodeo, I think, is the hardest part of your career. If you go to high school rodeo, mom and dad's there with you and they help you along and you get a bunch of prizes and a bunch of goodies. Pro rodeo, you're kind of off on your own and you are there on Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday, you're rodeoing. So if you mess something up, you got 24 hours, you redeem yourself.
Yeah.
College rodeo, you got maybe 2 weeks in between each rodeo. If you mess something up, all you can think about is getting back there in 2 more weeks. You got your coach you're trying to please. You got your peer pressure from your teammates. You're trying to live up to that. You got social media. You got people Snapchat jacking with you if you do something stupid. You have got a ton of pressure on you. So for me, when I came to the college finals, it was in Bozeman. I was winning pretty good at pro rodeos that year. And I thought, man, I can't wait to get to college finals because I wanted to show my team and I wanted to show my coach what I could do for him. And I got there and almost like overgoed it trying. And I'm like, man, if I would have just settled down and done my game, it would have turned out better for me. Yeah. So I think it's the toughest part of your career is college rodeo.
Yeah. Renee says hello. So proud of our Panola Ponies team.
Hey, hello. Thank you. Yeah, I'm proud of them. They're doing great. They're a great group.
And Jan, I'm not ignoring you. I apologize. Jan is asking about the Cowboy Channel. Listen, it actually has nothing to do with the universities. It has to do with some contracts that are already in place. We have a wonderful relationship with ESPN. And I believe, I'm not even going to guess. The contract is not ended yet, I guess. So
I think we're in
that's above our pay grade.
7-year contract or something like that. And really, that'll come down to, I think that comes down on the coaches, a lot of the NRA staff, faculty, and stuff like that. It comes down to us making sure this is a product that we can sell. And when we can sell this product and get money, and there's no other way to say it, but money changes things.
It does.
So and when we can get, can this be better? Yeah, we could always be better. Where do we start? Well, we figure out where the problems are, figure out where we're shorting, and then we go out and try to fill that gap and fix it. So I think it starts with money and selling this deal to national sponsors. That's what we need to do. And like I said, I think we got the right product. Cowboy Channel's great. I think they do an awesome job, and I love it. I'm addicted to it. It's on my house all the time. ESPN's coverage of this thing is, man, when you watch their coverage, it's amazing. Their TV.
And they announced too, I'm not gonna get all of it, but they announced too that they're gonna be streaming, but also the broadcast that airs in August is going worldwide, basically.
Yeah, it's going to Brazil. It's going to all
the
like
places.
11 other countries. It's amazing where it's going. So
and that's pretty amazing coverage that college rodeo. And I will also add, we have a lot of students, a lot of student athletes that get their visas and come here to college rodeo.
Oh yeah,
and Australia. I will say, Australia. I spoke with a gentleman. It feels like a week ago, but it was Monday. From Australia that's riding bulls, and he came over to college rodeo, and that's the thing with college rodeo. You can rodeo, you can amateur rodeo, you can college rodeo, and you can professional rodeo all at the same time. And so there's really an opportunity there as long as you're keeping your GPA up.
Yeah, and with the colleges, a lot of them are offering online classes, so it's a little easier for these kids to rodeo. Realistically, I'm not competitive if my school don't have that because I can't get some of the athletes that I got to come to
Yes.
school
We've got
5
some
days a week.
Yeah,
You know what
we've
I
got
mean?
some gals here that rodeo for Casper College. Well, one gal rodeos for Casper College, and then after the rodeo season, she goes to Texas.
Yep.
Like that wasn't happening when we were going.
No, you were
You're
in
stuck.
school.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
you're
were in
in
school
school.
5 days a week, and if you went to a rodeo, it was a close rodeo around there. You rodeoed around
The
college.
opportunities are amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. One thing I will say is a lot of kids are starting to come. They're not complaining. They're starting to say, "What's it pay? What's it pay? What's it pay?" College rodeo is not about what it pays.
Right.
Okay. It's about national championships. It's about a college education. So a lot of parents even are like, I can't take this horse and run this horse at a college rodeo that pays $500,
when I could win.
but it ain't paying $500. Look at what your degree you're
Yes.
getting. Look at the education. Look at what they're learning there at that program and about life. So,
Well, I would say about
rodeos,
life also.
Yeah, it's
Because
such a huge
that transition from senior year to freshman and sophomore, there's a lot of things that get thrown at you pretty quick
Yeah.
that you've got to maneuver. And I would say, I mean, this is a kudos to all rodeo coaches because I don't know that I recognize, clearly I didn't recognize it when I was a freshman, but that it's more than just about coaching rodeo. It's also about kind of life coaching them through some stuff too.
Yeah, I think it's a life coach. And so these kids are making money when they're 16, 17 years old, and then they come to college and they're like, there's no money in that. Well, dude, you're getting a degree.
You got to look
here.
at everything.
It's a little bit of team pride. You're riding for the colors, you're riding for the brand, and you're riding for an education. So don't come to college thinking it's all about money. College rodeos don't pay great, but we're not here for pay.
It's about all the other things.
It's team pride and a college degree. So we're getting it's great that rodeo's paying more at the junior levels and at the big team ropings, the big bull ridings. Everywhere's getting big money.
That's not your goal here.
If you're after big money, go in there where the big money is. Put your money up with big boys and go. But it's not the goal for college. College is to get a great education and have a little team championship, have a little pride in your alum. I mean, it's just
well, and there is something to say. I mean, you just mentioned alumni. There is a National Intercollegiate Rodeo Association alumni association.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like you do this and you check out. You know, this is a group that it's just like me. It's the same reason that I'm here. It's the same reason that I promote college rodeo still. College rodeo means a lot to me because it gave a lot to me.
Yeah.
And that's why we have an NIRA alumni association, because they felt it and they see it too. College rodeo not only allowed me to rodeo, but I got my degree. I paid for my school with my college rodeo. And I know what it meant to me. I know what it helped me through. I know what it did for me. And that's why that's part of that. It's so much more than just going to school to rodeo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that more kids are kind of recognizing that based on conversations I'm having.
I have friends from high school still, but most of the friends that I talk to on a regular basis are the guys that I went to college with. There's something about starving at the death in college with the guys, eating
Top ramen
noodles, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's something about that. And I think a lot of my habits, a lot of my things that I do to still this day, they were developed in college. And that was due to my coach. And obviously my coach was my hero, my mentor, and John Luthi. He's retiring this year, as a matter of fact. Congratulations to John Luthi. He's going to be in his last year here. Great man.
We've got a couple of big guys,
a lot of guys
stepping down.
Yeah, a lot of things changing, and we talked about that in the meeting last night. Some changes, you know, besides their cinch size, you know, a lot of things are changing, you know. And I'm not talking about the one on the horse. I'm talking about their cinches. You know, they went from cinch. But so that's one thing I will get a little bit upset and get mad about with parents a lot is that they're like, man, this just ain't going to pay that. Or this just ain't paying enough. I'm like, dude, you're in it for the road. But a lot of the parents that I have, their children now are former college rodeo athletes. and they realize, like
Mhm.
you and I do, how much they still talk about the college final. Man, when I was at the college finals, it did that. Man, when I was out there, it did this. And
And
they
I'll
don't
add
realize
too,
all the change, you know?
now so CNFR has been home in Casper for 24 years.
Mhm.
Like, we're about to see the next generation,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is, oh, that's kind of crazy.
I don't
That's
feel
crazy.
that old, do you?
Some days, I'm not gonna lie, some days I do.
Until I stand up. When I stand up here in a minute,
Yeah,
I'll
it's
feel
gonna be
that
bad
old. Yeah.
after sitting
Yeah,
for a
it's
little
for
bit.
1 hour. Yeah. So,
Well, but that's amazing. I mean, how long was it in Bozeman? Decade at least.
gosh, I don't know, but Casper has done, they have, I want to think that it's a team deal,
Mhm.
because when I'd come to Casper and I see how much it's grown, I think, wow, part of that's from us. And
Mhm.
then turn around and I see these guys working and what they do here at the event center and the Ford Wyoming Center. And I'm like, wow, that's
Mhm.
pretty cool that they'll do that for us. So Casper has developed a pretty good relationship with the NRA and with the college finals. And it's kind of like the NFR is with Vegas,
Thomas and
you
Mack.
just kind of,
Yeah.
but there again, Vegas moved to Fort Worth for 1 year. So there's always
improvement.
I think there's always room to grow, and there's always someone that will have us in their town as long as we keep doing what we're doing, and that's producing a great show,
Mhm.
bringing on great kids, and showing their heart and their guts. And I think if we just keep doing that, we're always going to have a sellable product that people buy into.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we're coming up on the 1 hour mark, which you guys, for anybody that's on BullFrog Creatives, you know that it's super easy for us to go on for an hour because we typically do. We have probably for the last 3 weeks, 3 times a week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will say we're going to be doing this CINCH CNFR morning show. Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing the CINCH CNFR morning show. Today's Wednesday. We will do it every morning, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning. We will not be doing it Sunday morning because we're all going to be sleeping in. But make sure you tune in. We're going to have some different guests tomorrow morning. We already talked about them briefly. CJ Aragon and Ben Londo are going to join us. They have some new roles, a little bit different roles in the arena this year. And so we're going to talk to them about those changes. And then you never know who is going to come on. We're going to work on Justin Rumford, see if he'll join us one morning. We may even have Jeff back because he's fun to talk to. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you check back in with us. We'll be doing some stuff tonight at the performance. Make sure you check back in tomorrow morning. We'll see you back here at 9 a.m. Thank you.
No matter what's going on outside of you, everything priority-wise comes behind what your horse needs. What matters most is what makes you get up every day, what makes you go in the barn and spend the time with the horses. It's not about the attention, it's not about the fame that may come with it if you do well, it's about loving the sport and loving the horse.